Hi guys. Hi. This is All in Economic Lifestyle, guys. I wanted to share this with you for awareness because I know there are a lot of people that are becoming van lifers. That means you're traveling in your van or your RV. However, people have been doing it for years, but seemingly here lately, a lot of people are getting into it. So I'm going to share the 15 highways where van lifers are disappearing. So this is for educational purposes only. Please do be aware. Please do vet your area in and out. And what I mean by that is that check before you pull over to any camping site or sleep over to ensure there have been no casualties in that area. This is what I mean when I say vet. And always make sure that you have your proper signal. If you can't have signal, guys, to where you're sleeping, then I would advise you not to sleep there, okay? So I'm going to jump right into it. So again, it's 15 American highways where van lifers are disappearing. So let's get started. Pay attention and take note.
More than a year carries the same map in her head. The pullouts where you do not shut down for the night, no matter what your clock says. The rest stops where you fuel up and roll. The scenic overlooks that photograph beautifully in the afternoon and becomes something
Let me
else at
rise
3 in
this
the
for you
morning.
guys. Okay.
Nobody printed that map. You built it one bad night at a time. And tonight we are putting 15 of those places
Please
in
do
order from
subscribe,
bad to the
guys.
worst in America. Anybody can read you a list of big cities you should not park in. You already know those. That is the lazy version. We went one level deeper to the exact highway corridors and mile markers that van lifers warn each other about in the private forums and the encrypted group chats. Every spot on this list has hard numbers behind it, a
Whoa, lot
documented
of red
disappearance
marks.
pattern, or a reputation the community has been repeating for a decade. This is the map the free camping apps will never show you. This is the map the tourism boards will never publish. And wait until you see what is sitting at the very top of this list. A single road earned that spot. A solo female van lifer named Rachel Havenhurst disappeared from a scenic overlook on it 8 months ago.
And guys, if at all possible, do not do it solo dolo unless you're gonna say where it's people populated. Let's continue.
In a case her family is still spending $18,000 of their own money trying to solve. Let us get into it. Number 15 is US Highway 97 in Oregon, the stretch between Bend and Klamath Falls that crosses through the Deschutes National Forest. On paper, this looks like a great van life corridor, free camping, national forest land, beautiful scenery. And that is exactly the problem. The Oregon State Police have jurisdiction over the highway itself, but the Forest Service campgrounds are patrolled by a federal ranger corps that operates with roughly one ranger per 120 square miles. Van lifers who camp overnight at these unmonitored campgrounds have reported being watched from tree lines, approached by unidentified persons at night, and in 5 documented cases in the past 2 years, disappearing entirely from campsites where their vans were later found with the doors locked and their belongings undisturbed. The cost here is what the trucker community calls the disappearance discount. You save $15 on a paid campground and pay 2 years of your family's grief for the savings. The pattern the community has identified is specific. The disappearances happen at the sites furthest from the highway, on the loops that require the longest walk to a paved road, and always on nights when the campground is otherwise empty. If you are running US 97, sleep at the paid Forest Service campgrounds where a host lives on site, not at the dispersed sites the free camping apps recommend. Number 14 is State Route 20 in Washington, the North Cascades Highway, closed 6 months of every year and completely unpatrolled during the shoulder seasons. Van lifers who use this corridor as a stealth camping route have reported being followed by vehicles that emerge from unmarked forest roads, being harassed at rest areas by groups of men in unmarked trucks, and in 4 documented cases, disappearing entirely from pullouts that had, hours earlier, been visible from the highway. The Washington State Patrol assigned 2 officers to the entire North Cascades corridor during the shoulder seasons. The corridor is over 130 miles long. The trap here is the scenery. This is one of the most beautiful drives in America, and the beauty draws exactly the van lifers most likely to want to sleep alongside it. The advice is boring, but it works. If you park on WA 20 overnight, park in Winthrop or Marble Mount where there are actual people and drive the scenic section in daylight only. Number 13 is US Highway 71 in Arkansas, the stretch through the Ozark National Forest between Fort Smith and Fayetteville. This is a wooded, mountainous corridor with limited cellular coverage, dozens of unmarked Forest Service roads leading into the interior, and a documented pattern of activity by methamphetamine production operations that use the same remote forest areas that van lifers use for overnight camping. 10 van lifers have gone missing along US 71 in the past 3 years. Every one of the recovered vehicles was found on a Forest Service road that the van lifer had taken on the recommendation of an online free camping database. Let me say that one more time. Every single one. The free camping database does not vet the roads it recommends. If a road on iOverlander or Free Roam takes you off pavement and out of cellular coverage on this stretch, treat the recommendation as a suggestion from a stranger with no accountability, because that is exactly what it is. Let me grab one quick stop before we get into the desert. If this list is saving you even one bad night, hit subscribe. It is free. And
Please
unlike your
subscribe,
propane
guys.
detector, it will never wake you up at 3 in the morning for no reason. Number 12 is Interstate 40 through Arizona, particularly the stretch between Winslow and the New Mexico state line that passes through the petrified forest, and dozens of unlit rest stops along an old Route 66 corridor. Van lifers who use this stretch as an overnight parking option have reported being approached at rest stops by individuals traveling in unmarked vehicles who appear to be scouting the residential population, followed at highway speed by vehicles that maintain a consistent following distance for hours at a time, and disappearing entirely from rest areas where surveillance cameras were installed but not operational. 9 van lifer disappearances have been logged along this corridor in the past 3 years. The mechanism here is patience. Scouts sit in rest areas and mark which vans are configured for living, then either hit the vehicle where it sleeps or follow it to somewhere quieter. If you are on I-40 in eastern Arizona and you notice the same vehicle behind you across multiple exits, get off at the next town with a police station and burn an hour drinking coffee. Number 11 is US Highway 101.
Hi guys, hi. I wanted to pardon me for one moment. One momento. You know, some people are going to be ignorant to this, but you don't be ignorant to your safety. This is what this is about. There's no cap about this. So don't come in my comments saying stop the cap. I take things like this very seriously, and you should too. Okay? With all due respect, let's continue.
Through Northern California, the stretch between Eureka and Oregon state line that runs through the Redwood National and State Parks. The corridor is heavily wooded, poorly lit at night, and includes dozens of pullouts that lead into forest interior areas that are functionally unpatrolled between sunset and sunrise. Van lifers who camp along this stretch have reported being approached at night by individuals emerging from the tree line, hearing vehicles moving through the forest at hours when no traffic should be present, and finding their van doors tampered with in the morning.
One more thing, guys, and usually, you know what? It's annoying when people use these shortcut words with me. I guess your vocabulary is not up to par. What does cap even mean? To put this in cap and tight? Because that's the only cap I know. I'm sorry, guys. Someone just came in and disrupted class. Let's continue.
6 van lifer disappearances have been logged along US 101 in the past 3 years. All 6 occurred within a 50-mile radius of the same 3 campground access points. The community has been quietly naming those 3 access points for 2 years. The California State Park System has never acknowledged the pattern in any public document. Number 10 is US Highway 1 in Florida.
And the state parks usually are not going to tell you guys because they don't want to bring upon fear, which is, I think, is not correct. I think you should let people know if there's been any casualties within that area and to caution them because they want to keep the tourists coming, the money coming. But I think humans are more important than money, don't you? So let's continue because we're in my state right now of Florida. Let's see what it has to say about Florida.
The stretch between Homestead and Key Largo. through the mangrove corridors of southern Miami-Dade County.
I know exactly where this is at, guys. This is near the Everglades. This is where all the farming goes on. The tropical oranges that are shipped all around the world, your mangoes, your avocados, yes, your pineapples. This is the area he's talking. And you do not want, because it's nothing but, you guys may, okay, this, the state of Florida, to me, I call it an island, even though it's connected to the states. We're just hanging on by the tip, okay? But the thing of it is that it is a farmland. So this is the area that takes you back in the backwoods where the farmlands are, where they have a lot of immigrants working in this area. Not to say anything, but I'm just saying it could be people that live in the area that are Floridians. Who knows? But I would advise you don't take these back roads when you're down that way. Let's continue.
This is a two-lane road with no shoulders across most of its length, dense vegetation both sides, and a series of unmarked turnoffs that lead into wetlands that are impossible for law enforcement to search without boats. Van lifers who park overnight along this corridor have reported being approached by vehicles that block the road in both directions and force them to exit onto turnoffs from which they never returned. 5 van lifer disappearances have been logged along US 1 in the past 2 years. 2 of the vans were found submerged in canals off the mangrove access roads. The other 3 vans were never found at all. If you are running the Keys corridor, do not stop between Florida City and Key Largo
Do not
overnight
stop.
under any circumstances. Push through to a paid campground on the islands or turn around and pay for a night in Homestead. Number 9 is Highway 138 in California, the stretch through the Cayenne Pass east of San Bernardino, where the highway crosses through a corridor of illegal dumping sites, active drug corridors, and stretches of unlit desert that have been used for body disposal in over 60 documented cases since the year 2000. Van lifers who park overnight at the pull-offs along 138 report being harassed by vehicles carrying multiple occupants, hearing gunshots in the surrounding hills at night, and finding evidence of recent activity at the very pull-offs where they had considered sleeping. 8 van lifer disappearances have been logged along Highway 138 in the past 2 years. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, which patrols the corridor with a total of 8 deputies covering 400 square miles, has never publicly linked the cases. The pull-offs along this road are marked as free camping on multiple apps. Delete those apps for this corridor. Number 8 is Interstate 10 through Louisiana, specifically the 60-mile stretch of elevated causeway across the Atchafalaya Basin between Lafayette and Baton Rouge. The elevated causeway has no shoulder to pull off onto, no rest stops for 20-mile stretches, and the wetlands underneath are inaccessible to law enforcement without airboats. Van lifers who break down along this stretch have reported being approached by vehicles that force them to exit the freeway at unlit exits leading into the bayou. 6 van lifers have disappeared along this corridor since 2023. 2 of their vans were recovered from parish roads in the bayou months later. Their owners were not. If your van has any mechanical concern going into Louisiana, fix it before you get to Lafayette. That causeway is the wrong place to discover a coolant leak. Number 7 is US Highway 191 through Utah, particularly the 70-mile stretch between Moab and Blanding that passes through a matrix of BL.
Are you guys paying attention to the states that they're mentioning, like the demographic wise, as far as mountain, hills, forests, water? This is usually where danger sets, and you have evil people out there that will sit and wait and prey on you. So this is why I upload things like this for your safety, my safety, your kids' safety, for everybody's safety. Please do subscribe. Let's continue.
LM land, tribal reservation land, and national monument boundaries with overlapping and inconsistent jurisdiction. When a van lifer disappears on this stretch of Highway 191, the question of which law enforcement agency is responsible for investigating the disappearance can take weeks to resolve. In 3 documented cases in the past 2 years, the question was never resolved at all, and the disappearances were closed without formal investigation.
Okay, see, this is the problem. When you have 2 counties near each other and you have a casualty, this is the problem. But you guys have to do better, law enforcement within these areas on that. You shouldn't be arguing about who takes the case. Somebody just take the case and solve the case. Let's continue.
Because no agency accepted primary responsibility. That is the trap here. It is not that this road is more dangerous than the others. It is that if something happens to you on it, nobody with authority is going to look for you. Sleep in Moab or Blanding proper, not in the corridor between them. Number 6 is US Highway 395, California, the Eastern Sierra Corridor running from Ridgecrest north to the Nevada state line. This is a 2-lane highway crossing hundreds of miles of open desert and volcanic terrain with limited cellular coverage, dozens of BLM camping areas that are completely unmonitored, and a documented pattern of vehicles being reported abandoned at scenic overlooks and hot springs that van lifers frequent as overnight stops. 12 van lifers have disappeared along US 395 since 2023. The Inyo County
Wow.
Sheriff's Department, which patrols the majority of the corridor, has a total of 19 deputies covering an area larger than the state of Vermont. The hot springs are the specific
What? They
problem.
need more
They
deputies
draw
out
van
there.
lifers who want to camp near a natural feature that is exactly the kind of remote, low traffic location where a disappearance produces no witnesses. Number 5 is Interstate 15 through California, the desert stretch between Baker and Primm that van lifers commonly use as an overnight parking corridor between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. The stretch includes 7 official rest areas and dozens of informal pullouts. 6 of those rest areas have been the site of at least one documented van lifer disappearance since 2022. The rest areas are patrolled by California Highway Patrol officers on a rotating schedule that averages one check per 12-hour overnight period, which means that a van lifer parked in a rest area between the hours of 11 at night.
Did he just say one check in the matter of 12 hours? That's not good. But then again, they have to work inside of the city, which the whole state should be covered. But when they have to take the time to come out to see about people that want to park in desolated places, I don't know, but you guys got to be careful out here. This is not a game. Let's continue. This is a cute camper and it's small. I like it.
And 7 in the morning can expect approximately 50 minutes of law enforcement presence during that entire window. 50 minutes,
Wow.
11 hours of nothing on either side of it. This is one of the busiest freight corridors in the country, which means it is also one of the most surveilled corridors for exactly the kind of crew that targets isolated overnight vehicles. Push through to Vegas or Barstow. The sleep debt is not worth the risk. If you have nodded at even one of these corridors so far, do me a favor and tap that like button. The algorithm treats likes the way a Walmart manager treats overnight parking. It pretends not to notice, but eventually it decides whether you get to stay.
Right.
Number 4 is US Highway 93 in Arizona, the stretch between Kingman and the Hoover Dam that van life communities have quietly renamed the Highway to Hell. It runs
Wow.
through a corridor of abandoned mining towns, closed rest stops, and unmarked dirt turnoffs that lead into hundreds of square miles of open BLM land where a vehicle can be hidden and never
This
found.
is wild, guys. Look how much land. Oh my goodness. What happened here? But this is a lot of open land. Let's continue.
The Arizona Department of Public Safety has documented 47 abandoned vehicles recovered from this stretch of
Jeez.
highway in the past 2 years, of which 29 had no registered owner willing to reclaim them.
Oh
14
my.
of those vehicles were vans configured for full-time living. None of the disappearances associated with those vans have been formally investigated as suspicious. This is
Are you kidding me? Hold up, guys. Let me take a breather on that. Are you serious? Why not? Why not? Why no investigation? Why no case open? Let's continue.
the road that produced the phrase highway to hell inside the community for a reason. If you are running between Vegas and Phoenix, run it in daylight and stop in Kingman or Wickenburg the night. Do not stop between them. Number 3 is US Highway 50 in Nevada, the extension of the loneliest road into the eastern half of the state. Same conditions as US 6, same lack of infrastructure, same complete absence of cellular coverage across 90-mile stretches.
Wow.
Van lifers who camp along Highway 50 overnight report being approached by unmarked vehicles at 3 in the morning, followed by vehicles that do not use their headlights, And in several documented cases, waking up to find people they did not know standing outside their vans. 9 van lifers have disappeared from Highway 50 in the past 3 years. The county sheriff's
And guys, this is not a fear factor, this is a fact factor. Let's continue.
departments that share jurisdiction over the road have never issued a joint statement about the pattern. That silence from the agencies whose job it is to warn the traveling public is itself part of the problem.
I
If they will not
agree.
tell you, we will.
Yes, we
The
will.
runner-up is U.S. Highway 89 in northern Arizona, the corridor between Flagstaff and the Utah state line that runs through the Navajo Nation and passes within 100 miles of a documented cluster of missing and murdered Indigenous women cases that federal law enforcement has for decades declined to investigate with any consistency.
Wow.
Van lifers who pass through this corridor and stop overnight report being warned by tribal residents to keep
This is
moving,
insane.
being followed by unmarked vehicles onto reservation land, where state jurisdiction ends and federal jurisdiction becomes ambiguous. And in 7 documented
Did you
cases,
guys know that when you're traveling that you could be under state or federal jurisdiction? I'm not going to tell you what it is, and don't GPT it either, or GPS it, well, whichever it is, or Google it, research it out so that you can know these things. Okay, it's very imperative. Let's continue.
cases in the past 3 years disappearing entirely from pullouts within the reservation boundary. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has jurisdiction over crimes committed on tribal land, but rarely investigates missing persons cases involving non-tribal victims found within tribal boundaries.
Okay, so he just gave you the answer just that quick. I didn't know he was going to say that, guys. When you move from state to federal, travel from state land to travel federal land, when it says federal, that means you're in tribal territory. Okay, you guys got that one, but the next one you're going to learn on your own. Let's continue.
That means if you disappear on US 89 inside the Navajo Nation, there is a very real possibility that no agency, state or federal, will ever open a serious case file on you. That is why US 89 is the runner-up. The disappearance is not the worst part. The silence after is. And the worst place in America for a van lifer to shut down at night is a single stretch of road running 408 miles across the middle of Nevada. Its name is US Highway 6, and the community
Nevada.
has been calling it
I
the
should have
loneliest road in
known.
America for so long that the state of Nevada put the phrase on a bumper sticker. This is where Rachel Havenhurst disappeared on the 8th of April, 2025.
I remember her.
Rachel was
Do you
34
guys
years
remember
old,
her?
a freelance graphic designer, and 3 years to a full-time van
So
life she had
sad.
documented on Instagram. She had converted her 2008 Dodge Sprinter herself over 4 months in her father's garage.
Wow.
Her van was found 4 days after she went missing at a scenic overlook 17 miles east of the Chevron in Warm Springs. With the driver's door unlocked, her wallet on the passenger seat with $342 still inside, her phone in the cup holder with no signal box.
Now, I would say this for her because she didn't deserve that at all, literally. I would have, I don't know if she had a carrier on her, but if she had a carrier on her, I would have let loose of everything in the chamber. And I really mean that because people are minding their own business and people come up and try to take, steal, or do whatever or try to, but you better get the right one because if you get the wrong person, you might find yourself laid down. Let's continue.
Bars, her camera on the floor with the memory card missing, and no sign of Rachel anywhere. 17 van lifers have disappeared from US 6 in the past 4 years. 13 of them were solo travelers, 11 were women. And the Nevada Highway Patrol.
Did you guys catch that? 13 solo, 11 women. Women, I know it's cute to put it up on um YouTube and make commentary out of it, make YouTube videos and documentaries out of it, but just make sure that you're being safe and that you have a second party with you, or at least have some dogs like a King Corso, Rockwilder, or a Pit Bull or Doberman Pinscher. Have a dog if you don't believe in weapons or however, because some people don't like to use weapons or don't know how. Just make sure you have some type of uh something that can help you if a situation arises in this matter, because it shouldn't be taken away because you guys want to enjoy yourselves and just have scenic of the world. My page is all in Ecoline Lifestyle, so I do get it, guys. So you just have to prepare, prep, vet, and always make sure that you have the proper signal wherever it is that you're going to campsite at, okay, especially at nighttime. But I would preferably you have a just get you a big dog. That's all you need. Let's continue.
which patrols this road with a total of 22 officers responsible for the entire central corridor, does not investigate disappearances that produce no body within 72 hours. Local van life advocacy organizations have started distributing satellite communicators at gas stations along the route, funded entirely by private donation because the state of Nevada has not allocated any budget to address the pattern. Rachel's mother in Portland still checks her Instagram every morning. Her sister still keeps the phone she called from that last Sunday charged and on the nightstand next to her bed. Her family has spent $18,000 of their own money hiring private investigators, drones, and search and rescue dogs to comb the desert around the scenic overlook where her.
This makes me so sad, guys. I just got chills. I'm sorry because I wish I could get my hands on whomever took her, bothered her, or whatever they did to her. Portland, Oregon is a and up it's headed towards Washington State, Seattle, Washington. I have family out there. And is I don't know, it's like a dark cloud or something, guys. Just like okay, you have California, right? Oregon, Seattle, Washington. It's like dark clouds are over these places. Let's continue.
Where her van was found. They found nothing. The Nye County Sheriff's Department has not opened a new lead on the case in 7 months. The federal government has
Wow.
never contacted her family. Every list has a worst. This road earned it. If you are running US 6 in the next 12 months, do these 4 things. Carry a satellite communicator, tell 3 separate people your route, and check in with each of them daily. Skip every scenic overlook east of Tonopah after sunset. And if a vehicle you do not recognize pulls off behind you at a pullout, do not stop. Keep driving to the next town, even if it is 50 miles away. Rachel Havenhurst did everything right except the last one. So that is the map. From the free camping corridors of Oregon all the way down to a scenic overlook in central Nevada, where a 34-year-old woman disappeared and the federal government has never called her family back. Every place on it got here the same way. Isolated stretches.
Well, my apologies to the family as a federal worker, immigration, but my apologies because I don't know why this is happening. And I suggest everybody gets on their job, and this includes the citizens too as well. We have all these detectives online wannabe, so do your job and help us help these people right here that are losing their families over nonsense. Let's continue.
Limited cellular coverage, rural sheriff's departments too small to investigate, and a national missing persons infrastructure that was never designed for people who live on the road. The Amber Alert system requires a child. The Silver Alert system requires an elder. The missing person alerts issued by state law enforcement require a permanent address of record.
This
A
is
34-year-old
crazy.
woman living full-time in a Dodge Sprinter who disappears from a highway pullout does not fit any of these categories.
You see it?
And
Did
her
you
case
guys
will not
catch
receive
that?
the
That's not
response that the
good.
same disappearance would receive if she had been reported missing from a suburban home in a city with a sheriff's department 20 times.
But what you guys want to do, you still want to do report. Yes, they're going to tell you, okay, well, how long, how old, this is that and the other. I don't care. You demand that they do a missing persons report, send out an Amber Alert. If they don't do it, you get as many as people as you can, and you get there as fast as you can. And I promise you, they will be on the way right behind you. You have to push enforcement sometimes respectfully. Don't do it disrespectfully, but just do it respectfully. Let's continue.
Times the size. Meanwhile, this country continues to spend tens of billions of dollars per year on defense budgets, stadium subsidies, and foreign military aid, while a rural sheriff's office in central Nevada patrols 400 miles of highway with a total staff smaller than the payroll of a suburban high school.
Look at this.
The money
Wow.
exists. It has
It
always
exists.
existed. The decision to spend it on the people driving these roads has not been made, and it is not going to be made this year either, which means the map you carry in your head is the only warning system you are going to get. Drop the highway your community has been quietly warning about in the comments. The one you would tell a new van lifer to avoid because somebody starting out this month has not learned it yet. And if this list earned a spot in the map, you
Guys, he's right. You have to communicate too. If you are a van lifer, communicate back, which I know a lot of people do. But some people, because it's you got to pack up, you got to get all your food, you have to make sure you have everything, you have to unhook this, plug this. But you cannot be lazy in the task because it could take one little thing, guys, for you, and it could cost you your life if you do not comply. But make sure you reach out to other people within the social media community and make sure nothing's funny or crazy or insane has happened so that you can know what's going on to whatever area of the state campground that you're headed to. And I hope this helped, but don't take it lightly, guys. I mean, you don't even have to be a van lifer for this to happen to. So just think a van lifer pulling over, sleeping in dark areas with rarely no cars around, and most of the time with no cars around, unless it's up people that are up for no good. And these people are usually sitting back watching you and you can't even see them, but they can see you. Please do subscribe until All in Economic Lifestyle. Thank you.